In today's video, we're continuing our coverage on the Kaiju legendary MonsterVerse Godzilla X Kong, The New Empire. I have officially watched it because Warner Bros. Like, yo, spoiler king, you bring the energy when it comes to MonsterVerse. We need you at this event. So I was like, okay, Warner Bros. And Legendary, I will come to your event. If I really have to watch it early so I can give y'all my opinion, I will come and watch it early if you force me to. So, yo, that was sarcasm, by the way. Satire, if you didn't get it. So if you are new around here, make sure you subscribe to never miss any of the Marvel, Kaiju, MonsterVerse, pop culture content that I deliver on a daily basis. Go subscribe to the channel, turn notifications on, and let me know if you've watched it. How did you like it? And if you haven't watched it, are you hyped to see it? Also, check us out on Instagram at Warstu to see the beautiful face behind the beautiful voice. And also, when I go to events like this, I post a bunch of stories and I post a bunch of stuff. So if you want to follow me over there, that would be much obliged. Also, follow us on twitter.com. aka x.com, WarstuG over there. I try and be funny. I try and give you some hilarious takes. So, it's worth saying, I watched this movie on an IMAX screen. The screen was freaking huge. This movie looked so good. It was so cool to see Baby Kong, to see Scar King, to see Shimo, to see Godzilla, to see Doug. They're all in it. And we're going to break it down. But you know, Warstu, we do spoilers. So, in this video, we're going to cover the following. The ending explained. Full spoilers. What your boy Warstu thought, and is the MonsterVerse gonna go anywhere? So, careful for spoilers, I don't want to ruin your life. So, the plot leak was 100% true to the point where it was true to a T. But if you haven't seen any plot leak videos, then you must be new around here, so it doesn't matter. So the whole premise of this movie is it's the sequel to the 2021 Godzilla vs Kong, except for this time they're teaming up to take out Scar King. So it's a war call. Something is calling. Something is calling. The Iwi need help. Scar King wants to get out and wants to take over the surface world. So essentially this movie is one big fight between Shimo, and it's not addressed if Shimo is female or male, but come on now, look at Shimo. She literally looks like a female. Come at me now. So it's essentially Scar King versus Kong, Shimo versus Godzilla. It's a big freaking team-up movie, and it's very interesting. So there are lots of kaiju in this movie. You've all come here to find out one thing. The Doug cameo did happen. He stole Kong's hunted food, and he was literally on the screen for 3 seconds. In fact, that's the only disappointing thing about this movie for me, is Doug was on the screen for literally 3 seconds. So the infinity gauntlet that Kong gets is because of frostbite on his arm, which is done via Shimo. So it's very interesting, Scar King. So they get into a fight. Suko basically leads Kong to where all the other apes are. And it's a very sad story because Kong's been looking for his kind for the longest time ever. He sees Suko. You can see Suko's being abused by his father or not father, Scar King, and when Kong's trying to give him some food, he tries to attack him because he's never felt love, and your boy Warstu didn't cry, and Kong has to take out this serpent-like snake in the water, and oh my god, it looks so beautiful in IMAX. It really did look cool. So if you live near an IMAX, try and watch it in IMAX, because if you don't, you're going to lose 30% on the picture size, because the movie was filmed directly for IMAX. In fact, I'm pretty sure it's filmed with IMAX cameras. So a lot of people are criticizing Scar King, but Scar King is intimidating. He was actually a threat for a part of the movie. So when they have the first fight, I guess you could say Scar King he doesn't body Kong, but he gets the best of Kong because of the whip slash. And then he cheats. He uses the crystal, which controls Shimo. He calls his he calls Godzilla's mother. He calls whoever Shimo is. And it's a sequence we see in the trailer. So let's address this. So did Legendary and Warner Bros. Reveal too much? After watching the movie, I don't think they did. The problem is, it's the context. If you don't understand the context, it did look like they revealed so much. Well, I guess technically it did. So Shimo does the frost blast onto Kong. He tries to field it off with his axe. He really does try, but frostbite gets him. And at this point, we have Gia, we have Trapper, and we have Dr. Andrews, who are all, and Bernie, who are already in the Hollow Earth, and Gia is the chosen one. She is the chosen one to bring Queen Mothra back, and Mothra looked beautiful. Personally, I don't understand what the hype is about Mothra, but she is pretty cool. She does have some abilities that can be utilized. I don't actually think Mothra is a well enough known character who could hold her own in a standalone movie. The same like Behemoth couldn't, in my opinion. The same like Rodan couldn't, but they'd be cool like to be in the next movies if they continue them. But based on the reaction of just listening to people after last night's screener, I do think this movie is going to be received pretty well. So what happens is Kong he has to run back to where they all are in Hollow Earth, and then Trapper gives him the Infinity Gauntlet, and it's got some injections on it which helps heal the frostbite, and then he's basically Thanos pretty much, and then he's like Thanos level power, and it's not actually discussed, but it does look like it gives him an electrical charge. Now what's interesting is we do get to see a fight between Kong and Godzilla, but it's not necessarily a fight, but Kong has to fight back. So when he gets the Infinity Gauntlet, he goes through one of these portals and it brings him up next to a pyramid. And then Godzilla and Kong get into a fight, and it's so cute. Kong's like, no, I need your help. And it is pretty funny. We do see a good bit of it in the trailers. And eventually Kong has to fight back. And he does. The leaks were true, lads and ladettes. He does smash Godzilla in the face. He does drop Godzilla for long enough. Then your boy Godzilla starts charging the atomic blast. And then Mothra comes in and blinds him. And then Mothra starts talking to the kaiju. And I heard this in my head when she was talking. It didn't actually say it. She was like, and she explains the scenario, why Kong has broken the truce and come to the surface world to get Godzilla's help. Because as we know, at the end of Godzilla vs Kong 2021, Godzilla is in control of the Earth and Kong in control of Hollow Earth. But no, there's a tribe down there with Scar King. Scar King's basically intimidating absolutely freaking everyone. Now, there is a sequence where when Suku and Kong are walking into Scar King's lair, there is this really long bone-like structure. It's essentially a bridge. And it must be at least, I don't know, like 1,000 feet, which is insane because Kong and Suku look tiny. Now, one thing I did hear coming out of the theater is people absolutely seriously. To me, I don't answer like when people go, oh, what would you give it out of 10? I don't do that. It's either a good movie or it's a bad movie. But I heard people going, oh, the scaling's off, the physics off. And I'm like, yo, bro, do you have a PhD in physics? Do you literally have an honors degree in physics? No, then what the freaking hell are you talking about? There is so many negative comments about the scaling. They're literally in Hollow Earth. They're not in Earth. Me, personally, there is no scaling issue for me. So then what happens is you get Top G, Godzilla. They go back to Hollow Earth and they get into a fist fight. And the plot leak was right to a T. The anti-gravity sequence, it was right. And then we do get the money shot, which is Shimo charging, and we have Scar King on the top, and we have Top G charging, and we have Kong on top. And just as they're about to punch each other in the face, the anti-gravity thing comes in and they both basically fall and get like blasted back. And it's a pretty cool sequence, to be fair. And I think, I mean, I can't verify this, but I'm pretty sure this movie had over 1 hour, maybe like 70 minutes of just Titan kaiju parts of the movie. There really wasn't that much human interaction in this movie. The human part was a little bit weak, but I mean, I loved Godzilla -1, but I know how people are going to be like. They're going to compare the human side in Godzilla -1 to the MonsterVerse movie, but you shouldn't do that because they're completely different movies. For me, I don't care about the human side of the story. I just want to see the monster smash each other. I just want to see Godzilla and Kong get into a fight or get into a fight with whoever the narrative villain is, if you like. So for me, people moan about the human side of this movie, and then they're like, yeah, but Dan Stevens' Trapper character is an absolute goat. It's like, you're literally just contradicting your statement. You can't say that the human side sucked and be like, yeah, but the dentist Dan Stevens, he's an absolute goat because he gave Kong a silver tooth and he gave Kong the Infinity Gauntlet. So what happens is they get blasted through a portal and then they end up in Brazil. And this is where we see Shimo. It's in the TV spot. This is where we see Shimo trying to cause another ice age by blasting ice into the sky. And the sequence where, now this was done on the Gold Coast in Australia. We reported it back on the channel well over a year ago. When you see loads of people running from the beach. Well, that's Shimo and obviously Scar King is there. And then this is where we get into the Rio fight, which is actually pretty insane. And this is where, in the trailer, we see Scar King whipping his whiplash, which must have been massive. He whips it around the building, throws it at Kong, and Kong smashes him in the face. Well, he smashes the building, and it knocks over. So, before they get to Rio, the axe is kept in Hollow Earth. But then your boy Suku, aka Atreus. So Suku and Kong have this God of War, Kratos, Atreus relationship where he brings him the Stormbreaker. He brings him his axe. And then the axe is used to smash the crystal, which is obviously given control over Shimo. Now, this is a big question that people are asking. The power levels. I would say Godzilla's actually stronger than Shimo, but we don't physically see this. And yes, we do get to see Godzilla smashing Scylla, but we already knew that based on the Godzilla X Kong Haunted comic book. And it's pretty sick. That's towards the start of the movie. And we do get to see Godzilla fighting Tiamat, just like your boy Warstu told you. And he gets his charge up from Tiamat's lair, a French power plant. Guys, the plot leak is on point. But to be fair, I forgot most of the plot leak when I was watching the movie because I can do something called switching that side of me off. So that is how Godzilla does his Pokemon and evolves to the next level, the Rose form of the Pokemon. Or you could say a Rose Super Saiyan, and that's how he goes crazy. But Godzilla sensed all this, and that is why he went to Tiamat's lair to get more power, because he sensed something was off. He really did. So the final fight, it's over pretty damn fast, but even though it is, I think it's probably like 7 minutes. So as soon as the crystal is smashed, Shimo is like looking at everyone going, oh my God, what? Because she's obviously been in a trance. She's been manipulated because of said crystal. Oh my God, Space Godzilla confirmed. Okay, lads, we're going to talk about the Space Godzilla stuff a bit further in this video, so chill out. So yeah, Shimo's like, yo, oh my God, what should I do, lads? What should I do? And then she freaking blasts Scar King, freezes him, and then Kong comes in and smashes Scar King into a million pieces. Just like your boy Warstu, the Chosen One, told you guys a long time ago. But execution is very good. Like, it's really well done, in my opinion. Now, I know what you're going to say. You're paid. Warner Bros. Paid you to say it's a good movie. No, they didn't. Did you see my Flash review? Have you seen a lot of my DC reviews for their movies recently? Nah, I'm like straight down the line. If I don't like something, I'll tell you. If I do like something, I'll tell you. So the movie ends with Scar King getting destroyed. Shimu is now out of Scar King's hypnosis via said crystal. And the movie ends just like most people thought it would. We have Top G Godzilla going back to the Roman Coliseum, lying down and chilling because he needs a nap because he's just had some fights. So yeah, this is probably one thing that people... Okay, realistically, Godzilla's not in the movie this much. It's realistically a King Kong storyline, if you ask me. King Kong is the hero. He goes back to Hollow Earth with Shimo and Suku. He's riding on Shimo! And then he goes to the former Scar King lair, and all the other apes are roaring and stuff because now Kong's got a bunch of friends. He is the king, but he's not gonna manipulate and bully everyone. And then him and Suku really do have this Kratos, Atreus kind of relate. Suku was the best character. Like, Suku is the freaking GOAT. And then you see your girl Mothra repairing what was essentially broken. And then we see the relationship between Gia and Dr. Andrews, and Dr. Andrews like, yo, if you can stay down here with your Iwi people if you want to. And she's like, it didn't make me cry, but it was kind of cute seeing. And she's like, no, my home is wherever you are my home. And it was such a cute moment. And yeah, let's address the elephant. That's pretty much the ending. Is there any post-credit scene? No, that's pretty much the end of the movie. I know a bunch of people are going to call me out for saying stuff, but realistically, I just report on stuff that I'm told, realistically, and stuff I come across when it comes to talking about things in movies. So yeah, there's no post-credit scene, but I mean, did it tease anything? No, it really didn't tease anything. I mean, I guess it did tease stuff, and there was other things inside the Hollow Earth, to be honest. And we all know why Legendary does team up movies, because Kong with Godzilla would make more money than the respective kaijus by themselves. But realistically, I would love to see a Godzilla solo movie and a Kong solo movie next. But seeing as Adam Wingard's already said he's got plans for these 3 titans to do some more stuff, it's interesting. So let's address the Space Godzilla stuff. Oh, there's crystals, that means Space Godzilla. Yo, lads and lads, I never said Space Godzilla was going to be the overall villain. It was kind of a rolling joke between me and some people who watched the channel about Shimo essentially being Space Godzilla, although they aren't really similar at all, except for maybe the crystal? I don't know. Maybe that's the only kind of reference you can collaborate between them if you want to go down that route, which is cool. So overall, movie was very good. I think the general audience will love it. I think if you're like a comic book nerd, you may start nitpicking about the scaling and about the physics, but the person I watched it wasn't a MonsterVerse fan, and she freaking loved it. Most of the people I was earwigging, they loved it, except for the few people that were moaning about the scaling's off, the scaling's off. And yeah, I have seen some comments going around about how corny and how it's like a generic team-up movie and a generic ending and stuff. But realistically, if you do break down, like, you know, the best DC and the best Marvel movies, are they not freaking generic? Like, most storylines nowadays are generic. But realistically, how I like judge a movie, did it entertain you? Yes. Would you watch it again? Yes. Did it look good? Yes. The only real criticism I have is one of the fights. I mean, I'm not saying Shimo looks bad or anything, lads or ladettes, but one of the fights was a little bit blurry. What I mean, it just seemed a little bit off, and respectfully, I do like the Shimo, but for me, I don't know what it is. The design of Shimo, it's just not the one for me. Like, respectfully, I really wanted to like the Shimo's design when we got a first real look at it in the movie, and I just don't like the Shimo design. That's no disrespect to the animator, the artist that did it. Very talented guy, but respectfully, there's just something off with the way that Shimo looked. And I watched it in IMAX, which is pretty much the best quality you can get. So like always, guys, let us know down below. Did you see the movie? Are you going to see the movie? I think it was pretty rad. So let's just recap. Tiamat gets killed. Scylla gets killed. Doug, miniature cameo. Scar King gets smashed at the end and no longer. So the movie ends with Shimo being alive, Kong being alive, Godzilla. I mean, why did people think Godzilla was going to be killed? He wasn't. Now, I get it. My style of reviewing and breaking plots down and telling you what happened, it's not a traditional way of reviewing a movie because I'm not a traditional person. But you lads and ladettes have been so good. You've been following the videos for such a long time. There's been a massive build up to this movie. I really wish the post-credit news that I was hearing before the movie came out was real, because if it was me, I would have teased up something like Destroyer, Space Godzilla, Bilatona, or however you say it, or another kaiju. But sadly, I mean, sure, you can say stuff like, I mean, the structure where they went over the bridge that looked like some kind of titan that must have been 1,000 feet long. I mean, yeah, you could say that's a teaser to something that was potentially down in Hollow-Earth. Hollow-Earth is that big, I almost feel like they haven't explored it enough. And they can explore this kind of stuff on Monarch Legacy of Monsters. Now, there were loads of rumors of Rodan, of Behemoth, etc. appearing in this movie. I think if you're a Kaiju MonsterVerse fan, I think if you're a general audience kind of viewer, I think you would enjoy it, because there were a lot of Kaijus. We got Tiamat, we got Scylla, we got Tug, we got Warstu, yeah, I had to get that in. We got Godzilla, we got Kong, we got Suku, Baby Kong, we got Shimo, and there were a bunch of other, there was this snake serpent-like creature that Kong had to beat up. So there's so much going on in this movie, and I just want to address something, because I don't actually think this is true. So as you know, these movies are legendary movies, funded 75% by Legendary and 25% by, well, it's Warner Bros. Discovery, formerly known as Warner Bros. And some numbers came out recently from Deadline saying that how much it actually cost to make this movie. And even though it's come from a publication from Deadline.com, I think it's absolute nonsense, the number they came out with, because the amount of CGI and VFX shots. No, it says the movie cost 135 million with 75% Legendary, 25% Warner Bros. I think they mean the 75% is 135, so the budget would be more like 160, 170. They wouldn't spend less money on the sequel when there's a lot more kaijus than this, so I don't believe this number. But either way, it's a fairly low budget movie, so it will easily break the $500 million mark. I still think it's a bad idea that they've released this movie so close to Dune 2. Dune 2's broke over 500 now, but Dune 2 is still doing really well. They probably should have kept the original release date, or the second original release date when they changed it because of all the writer's strike. They should have maybe released this in the middle of April, because people are still watching. I get it, you can watch multiple things at the cinema, but some people can't afford to do that. So I feel like maybe it might hurt this movie a little bit. But yeah, I just wanted to mention that about the budget. I don't believe it was 135 million. And obviously there's going to be some kind of campaign money also for the marketing, because they did that crazy thing in London where they had the Kong telephone thing and they had Godzilla in the sea. And they've done a bunch of cool stuff, actually. Props to them. They've done some really cool stuff when it comes to actually physical marketing in the real world, outside of spoiling everything in trailers. But like I said, it's the context. I don't really think they actually spoiled stuff purposely in TV spots and stuff, because if you don't understand the context, then it probably wouldn't actually be much of a spoiler. So like always, guys, thank you very much. Let us know what you think of the video. Yeah, I don't like to do non-spoiler reviews because then you can't really say much. And basically, plot leak that we've gone over for the last few months. Bang on! Absolutely bang on. No post-credit scene. But technically, they could do stuff in Monarch Season 2 if they get one. And yeah, they could go anywhere they want because it's left open. They don't need to set anything up to do other stuff. There's lots of other kaijus that could have been awakened by what happened in this movie. So like always, guys, check us out on Instagram at Warstu. Check us out on Twitter. OFFICAL, and I will catch you in the next video, guys, very soon. Catch ya later.